Hello, I'm going to show you how to make coffee using our drip coffee maker and burr grinder setup. If you're anything like me, you don't clean your coffee out from the day before, so my first step is to dump the grounds and clean out the carafe from yesterday's coffee. So I'll do that now. So you take the grounds from yesterday's coffee and the carafe, move them over to the sink area. The grounds, you just open the filter basket, dump in there. The carafe, to take off the lid of the carafe, you turn this lid counterclockwise. It just sort of cranks off like that. Dump yesterday's coffee out. And mix. Move all this stuff back over to the coffee maker. Next is water. So please don't use the carafe to pour water in this because there's oil from the coffee that can mess up the coffee maker. That's what the pitcher is for. So walk the pitcher over here. We've got filtered water here and the little spout here. So just turn that guy on. For a full pot, well, a full pot for us is 6 cups. So for a full pot, it takes about 1 liter of water. You can watch it fill up here. I'm only making coffee for myself today, so I only need about half that. So, you can actually brew more than 8 cups. So you can actually do more than 1 liter of water if you want, but half liter for me today because I'm just making coffee for myself. I'll come over here. There's a spout in the top of the coffee maker. You just pour it right in there. And there's a little measuring thing on the side here. You can just watch it fill up to whatever your desired amount is. As I said, I'm just making coffee for myself today. So 3 cups according to this is about 1.5 regular coffee cup size cups. So I've got my water in, got my stuff clean. Now we grind. There's some coffee here and coffee here. We'll also have coffee that's already ground if you don't feel like grinding coffee. But today I'll grind a little bit. It's loud, sorry. So dump a little bit of coffee into the basket of the burr grinder. You can either push this little button and it'll grind, or there's actually a little dial on the side you can flip and it'll turn on, which is what I'll do now for a few seconds. Should be enough. There are filters here in the little drawer underneath all the coffee setup. So grab you one of these, put it in the filter basket. Now this is actually sitting on a kitchen scale. So I do this because I like to measure out an exact amount of coffee so that the coffee is the same every time. To turn that on, there are 2 places you can push here. On the right hand side there's a little power button. You push that and it turns on. The readout should turn on to grams. It did right now. If it doesn't for some reason, you can push this other button and it'll cycle through the different units of measurement until it gets back to grams. Anyways, it's on grams now. We've found for us that about 7 grams of coffee per cup is the kind of preferred amount of coffee. I did a little label here on the side of the coffee maker to help measure that out if you don't want to do the math. As I said, I'm just making 3 cups for myself today, so I'll just measure out the amount here in a second. Just turning that back on. So 21 grams. The grinder, as you just saw, I should have explained it. It grinds into this little basket. You pull out the little basket and then you just dump it in here until it adds up to whatever your desired amount is. As I said, I'm making 21 grams, so I'm just watching it as I'm doing it in here. If for some reason you do too much, like right then I just did 22, I'm not going to mess with it, but if let's say you dumped a whole bunch and you wanted to take some out, there's a little scoop here on the side. You can always just scoop some out and pop it back in there and you'll be fine. All right, so I've got ground coffee to the right amount. I've got water, everything's clean. Last step, pick this guy up, stick the little gasket back on top, put it on top of the carafe, slide the carafe in, put this little lid on the top here where you pour the water in, press a button, and it makes coffee, just like that. I'll come back in a minute to show you what happens at the end when it's time to pour coffee. Okay, we're back. Coffee's done brewing. You can tell because there's a light here that flashes underneath where it says ready, so it's ready to go. So now we get it set up to pour. Take this little lid off so it can vent. Take the whole setup out. Set the filter basket back down over here where we got it this morning. Or first thing rather. The lid goes on with the thumb spot just to the right of the handle. So put it on, turn it clockwise to lock it down, and now it's done. I'm gonna go grab a cup and pour myself some coffee.